But if I could put money on it, I would. I just don't know where and how, you know? Machine shop for life until I retire. My name is Jared Probst. I'm the president and founder of RapidAxis. We are a low volume, high mix machine shop. We also do some short run production, primarily for aerospace and defense, but we service a litany of other customers: automotive, medical device, life sciences, consumer end devices, you name it. Well, I'd say ultimately our edge is that we can tackle complex projects with relatively short lead times. So a lot of our customers are very focused on speed to market, especially on the low volume, high mix side for prototyping and research and development builds. So we don't shy away from tight tolerances, from hardware installation, from secondary operations or finishes that we may have to sub out to, say, a heat treater or a gold plating or something like that. So ultimately, I think the fact that we can provide high tolerance machine parts, as well as some of our other services like sheet metal and 3D printing and whatnot, along with any required finishes or hardware, and do so in a rapid lead time with great communication from my project management staff. That's probably what our strong point is right now. Yeah, absolutely. So quoting right now is done. We've been manually setting up components in CAD/CAM and actually doing a trial run on programming to see how many machine hours are required. It does take a while. The good news about that is that we can typically catch things like radii notes or tolerances or tools that we're going to need for the job in advance. But typically our estimation lead times have been about 1 business day. So since we've been utilizing Digi Fabster on the back end, when we have hot requirements where customers are demanding quotes rapidly, whether it be for prototype or production, we've been able to cut the manpower down on our quoting by about 50%, because we're able to take the CAD files, upload it, look at it on the back end, and see a rough pricing side for what we can actually work off of. So it's taken a lot of the guesswork out. Our real goal is to eventually be able to offer same-day quoting for all of our services, for 3-axis machining, 5-axis machining, turning, sheet metal, 3D printing. DigiFabster is going to be a critical component of that. Ultimately, right now, I could see a situation in the future where our next step for automation would involve greater Mastercam automation or CAD/CAM. So programming still takes a lot of time. If there are tools out there that we can utilize more effectively than the ones we're already using to speed up that process, that would be ideal. We're also looking at robotic automation, but we have to be awarded the right types of production jobs to where we can actually put in the capital investment to have robotic loading and palletizing and things like that of components. So ultimately, the thing that I think that we really do best, better than anything else, is the customer service side. Our project managers are very communicative, they're involved, they're happy to field technical questions during RFQ, during quoting, during the actual project, and then after the project is shipped. I think that most job shops in the United States are overwhelmed. They're struggling to maintain communication with their customers, and when issues do arise, it takes a long time for them to respond. My recommendation to them would be invest in your people, invest in your resources that are available to your customer, so that you guys can take better care of the customers you have, like RapidAxis takes great care of their customers. Well, I think ultimately it comes down to the company culture, but you have to recognize that each role that you have at your business is there to fulfill a specific mission. A lot of companies, a lot of machine shops specifically, they have machinists who just want to machine parts, and that's totally fine. You do not want your machinists talking to your customers or having to deal with basic questions like we can't source this material, what's a suitable standard, or the anodizer says it's 3 business days, you need it in 2, so we're looking for another anodizer, things like that, right? So and on the back end also, when issues do arise, you need to have the bandwidth to respond to those quickly. So in our case at RapidAxis, we have a team that has been developed to specifically handle that, so we're not taking away from our fabricators to do that work. So, and one of the KPIs we track is email response rate for operations. Our average reply rate is 15 minutes right now. It doesn't mean you're going to get an answer, but your question will be confirmed within 15 minutes. Honestly, as president and founder of RapidAxis, I came from a sales culture, so all I wanted to do was make sure the customers were taken care of. So we were more worried about that than we were even about fabrication ahead of time. So I think that we paid attention in the right area. There was enough people that were frustrated, enough with other machine shops in California as well as across the United States that they turned to us to get their jobs done. And my customers are, we have very low account attrition. They come back over and over again. Our closing ratio is over 50% because of repeat business. And I think that that's really key. It's take care of them first, they'll take care of you. I would say if I could give an answer that isn't necessarily a salesperson or engineering person, I would say first and foremost, you have to know business finance. If you can't keep the books, you're going to be in trouble, whether you're a machinist or a salesperson. But one of the areas that that machine shops struggle in, especially the startup ones, is getting customers. Quoting takes time. You're not going to win every job. You have to quote. This is where companies like DigiFaps are coming to help. Is like they can cut down on your necessary investment of time to get the quote out, so that you can actually be out there working on new customers. But this worked for me. I know it's failed for others. At the same time, machinist engineer founders have also failed because they were not able to get business in. So I think that ultimately it comes down to having both skill sets to some extent. But really, if you can't sell, you can't have a business. This is just the truth of the matter. And to sell, you have to be able to get quotes out, and you got to do it fast. I welcome it. I look forward to the competition. I would like to see a more competitive environment within the United States. But ultimately, I do think that a lot of the private equity buying shops, they're going to mismanage it. They're going to misrun it. I've been in this industry 20 years. I've seen it happen a million times. They're going to dismiss the people that they need to keep because they're high compensation employees to worry about their bottom line, and ultimately they're going to burn out and fail. But if I could put money on it, I would. I just don't know where and how. Yeah. So that's an excellent question. I mean, ultimately for us, if we can machine the materials, we're going to do it. The things that we struggle with are ceramics, and we don't want wood in our machines. We don't want phenolic materials in our machines other than G10, like FR4, if that counts as phenolic. So there are sometimes tolerances that we cannot achieve. In those events, we always will relay that information in quoting, that we have a tolerance that we need a concession on. Oftentimes the customers are understanding that yeah, that's an unachievable tolerance, and they'll actually be able to fit it into our mill by changing something, right? So, but that's roughly about it. There are situations where somebody asks us to quote against China. We usually tell them no. Well, we do have customer history that works. I would say that we struggle with consumer products because these customers are typically not looking for high quality components at a reasonable cost. They're looking for very low cost components, which ultimately means that we're opened up to the global supply chain. And as an American machine shop, we can't compete with the world. But automotive, defense, aerospace, I mentioned life sciences. I mean, we have a lot of good business in the United States that sends us work on a regular basis. So our model is low volume, high mix, which would be prototype and R&D builds primarily. If you have low volume specialized products, that would count into that category too. We can also take up the short run production. So for milling, turning, 200 to 500 components at a time, 4 to 6 week delivery, that's perfect for us, really. We wouldn't shy away from quoting your mass production, but it's got to be the right component for the right machines with the right fixtures that could cut down on machine time, things like that. So ultimately for RapidAxis, at this point of the company, we are just looking to add additional customers. We want to maintain our quality standards, our delivery standards. You can read about those online. We have some industry best metrics for on-time delivery and RMA amounts. We want to continue to adhere to that and just grow this business. I mean, my stepfather had a manufacturing company for 27 years. That's ultimately my ambition. Machine shop for life until I retire.
Hi, I'm Darren. I'm the CTO and shop manager here at RapidAxis. What we'd like to add is a turning center with live tooling. So this way we could tackle any projects, quickly as soon as it comes in. We want high quality work and we want to do it fast. If the volume's there, so for quick turn, for onesie twosies, you don't need the automation. But if we're going to start doing production work, then yeah, absolutely. I'm not 100% sure, but I'd say like 25 pieces enough. Sure. Either adding robots so the parts can be loaded themselves onto the machines, or we get bigger machines with pallets built in. My role would be to worry about the machining part. Jared has to worry about the shipping part. We want as close to 100% satisfaction and on time as we can get. Nobody's perfect. There's no such thing as a perfect shop, but 99.8% I think is something we want to reach for.